Live Action regularly works with ex-abortionists and clinic workers to create our educational content. Dr. Anthony Levatino worked closely with our team to create the abortion procedures videos, now viewed more than 100 million times. Dr. Levatino allowed God to transform his experience with abortion from a dark spot on his soul to a light that could illuminate the horrors of abortion for others. Now, Dr. Levatino speaks internationally, advocating on behalf of children in the womb and their mothers. By accepting mercy himself, he gives others hope that they, too, can find forgiveness and freedom. Over the years, I've met dozens of former abortionists and abortion clinic workers, but few have moved me the way OBGYN Kathy Altman did during our 2019 live action review. Kathy had just started medical school at the University of Florida College of Medicine when Roe v. Wade was decided in January 1973. Caught up in the spirit of the times and believing that women should have control over their own bodies, Kathy and her fellow medical students learned to perform abortions as a routine part of their medical training through residency. Dehumanization was built into their education. The doctors in training moved from chick embryos to human babies with minimal reflection. I did not see them as human beings, Kathy said. I just saw them as embryos and fetuses, not as people. Toward the end of her residency, Kathy herself got pregnant but continued to perform abortions, in part to prove her mettle as a woman of science in what was still a male-dominated field. The birth of her daughter made Kathy more reflective about the humanity of these babies, but not enough to overcome her commitment to women's rights and her obligation as a doctor. A series of 3 patients broke the spell. The first was a young woman whose babies Kathy had aborted 3 times prior. The second was a callous young woman who, when asked if she wanted to see the baby, snapped, "No, I just want to kill it." And the third was a married mother of 4 who wept copiously through the whole procedure, knowing she was killing a child so as not to put a strain on family finances. That was Kathy's last abortion. She refused to do them after that. Kathy's journey from abortionist to pro-life activist was a long and deliberate one. In her practice, she began to see women who had never recovered from the emotional damage of an earlier abortion. She became a Christian and began to marvel at the joyful young children she saw at church, who might not have existed had the abortionist lobby had their way. Then she, like me, began to study the Holocaust, a subject with which she was familiar, as her father had helped liberate the camps during World War II. They didn't see the Jews and the Gypsies and the others as people, said Kathy of the Nazis. And if you don't consider someone human, you can do anything you want. Upon coming to this realization, a more frightening one gripped her. That's when I realized I was a mass murderer, she said sadly. I had killed all these people, and that's when I completely changed my opinion on abortion. The acceptance and love of her fellow Christians made all the difference in Kathy's emotional recovery. At a Christian healing center, she started down the road towards self-forgiveness. Normally reserved and professional, useful attributes in a doctor, Kathy let it all go. I never understood what crying your eyes out meant until that point, she said, because I literally cried my eyes out and couldn't stop. No one is beyond saving. There is no fall too far from the reach of God's mercy. As we fight for our cause, and as we stand up for what's right, may mercy always mark our words, our thoughts, and our deeds. Never forget that those who have committed evil are capable of rejecting the evil they've done. In rejecting that evil, they may become the most compelling champions of the good. And one day, we may discover them fighting by our side.